Broadcasting live. It's America's longest running talk show on computers. It's Computer America, bringing you the biggest names in technology with guest interviews, new products, and your emails. Listen live at computeramerica.com on any device around the world. Email the show at live@computeramerica.com or find us on social media. Be sure to check out our website for contests, giveaways, show notes, live video stream, podcasts, and more. You're listening to Computer America.
Hello and welcome into the Computer America Show. We are the nation's longest running talk show on computers and technology. Thank you so much for joining us, and I have to do something a little unorthodox, but let me just make sure that today's guest is available. And again, for anyone not reading the show notes, today's guest is Mr. Jordan Darling. So, Jordan, are you there?
I am.
Perfect, and you sound good. Okay, I'm going to introduce the show, and then we'll bring you right back. So, everyone, welcome into the Computer America Show. That's right, and a little bit of a rocky start, but hey, we are getting into it. So, for everyone who's this is their first time hearing about Computer America, welcome into the program. We dedicate the entire show to the latest in technology, the greatest gadgets, and just how technology in general is making your life easier, better, and more fun. And that's really going to apply today because we have a company on called Freeform Factory. You can check out their website at ridefreeform.com. And we have the founder and CEO joining us here talking all about his product and how smart technology goes into it. And hey, when is there ever a bad time to talk about jet skis? I can't think of one, so this is going to be a lot of fun. Also, be sure to check out computeramerica.com. That is our home. That is where we have everything that involves the show, including show notes. So if you are working out or if you are just working or driving or what have you, and you want to check something out that happened on the show, head on over to our website, and we have links to our guest website, any articles that we do, any videos that we show. Anything and everything is available over on computeramerica.com. Also, be sure to check out our social media contest and the live video stream. The video stream is going to be pretty helpful today because we're going to have a lot of videos showing off the product that we are talking about. And, it's just going to be a lot of fun. So, with all of that said, let me introduce one more time. Again, this is the founder and CEO of Freeform Factory. And yeah, welcome in Jordan Darling. Jordan, thank you for appearing.
Yes, thanks for having me on the show.
My pleasure, my pleasure. And so, you sound good, and why don't we just jump right into this? Because, it's not something that we usually cover, simply because I don't think I've ever heard of anyone really else, trying to put technology into something that is, it seems like a pretty good fit, but at the same time, I mean, it's a complicated piece of machinery. I mean, water and technology generally don't mix all that well, especially when you get into things like salt water. I guess either it's a lack of interest from the community or it's a lack of technical skill to do something like this. So for everyone out there who may be a little fuzzy on what I'm talking about, Jordan, if you could explain what exactly Freeform Factory is and what it is that you do.
Yeah, so we're a technology company. We started with aftermarket personal watercraft hulls with some new hull manufacturing technology that I developed with my company, and we're able to build a extremely durable, lightweight, 100% plastic personal watercraft hull and deck. And we tested that with several of our professional freeride jet skiers. And we talk about freeride jet skiing, talking about individuals that take 300-pound personal watercraft 40 feet in the air, do backflips, barrel
Wow.
rolls, and they compete all over the world doing this. So it's very, very unique, the personal watercraft sense, but it's a lot of fun. It's really cool to watch. So we took that technology and we implemented it into building the world's first fully electric personal watercraft. So others have tried it. We're not the first ones to think of this, but we are the first to execute it at the level that we have. And we're super excited about it. It is 100% electric. There's no fuel. There's no oil. You simply charge it and ride it and have a lot of fun.
That is the dream, and of course, we're going to talk about the the two different products that you have in particular. But obviously, there's going to be trade-offs. But I mean, it just seems like a natural fit because yeah, there's probably going to be the amount of times that you can ride and charging times and all that thing. But at the same time, the ease of just just like a cell phone, just plugging something in, charging it, taking it out for the day, and coming back home, not having to worry about any of the mechanics or anything like that. I mean, I'm sure it's I'm sure it's a heck of a lot of fun. So, but and you mentioned a little bit of your background, but why don't we get in more into that? Because like I said, it's not an easy thing to do. What it is you're trying to bring to market. So, what is your background that led you to start Freeform Factory?
So I'm a mechanical engineer that's always been involved in power sports. So when I was, 3 years old, I received my first four-wheeler, my first snowmobile from my parents, and I've been hooked pretty much ever since. At the same time, being involved in power sports, I was always an athlete, so practice is a big thing for me, competitive things to always get better at what I'm doing. And it was probably, I would say, when I was 15 when I got my first jet ski, so an old 90s Kawasaki stand-up, and I was hooked ever since from that, and evolved over the years, was able to build, and I had other small businesses and get to the level where I was buying my so-called dream watercraft, and then it's at that time I was really started taking it to the next level. But at the same time, as I was progressing in my riding, the hull technology and the actual jet ski wasn't progressing, and it was breaking. So I was at a mechanical engineering school, and we were given an assignment, simply put, find a product that's not traditionally manufactured in plastics manufacturing and see if it's capable of being made with plastic.
Right.
And come to find out, at the same time, I was breaking my fiberglass jet ski pretty much every time I was using it. So it seemed like a perfect fit. Started doing some material research in my material science class and met with different advisors, different industry people, and realized that, yeah, it's possible to make an entire personal watercraft out of plastic. It's not only recyclable, but it's also ended up being stronger and lighter. So long story short, I proved the material would work, proved the manufacturing process would work, rounded up a couple investors, and took it from a concept to on the water in about 6 months.
That is a crazy fast timeline, but hey, what do you expect from jet skis? And no, it sounds like a perfect mix of course, someone with personal experience and really some skin in the game because hey, this is what you do in your in your spare time as well as what you do professionally. So it's a perfect mix of professional and enthusiasm, and it led to an amazing jet ski. And we're going to, of course, get into that because like you said, the plastics and the different materials that you use really, would you say that is the thing that really sets apart your line of products is not only battery powered but also the materials that you use to make it? I mean, for anyone out there that maybe rides jet skis and has experience with a number of them, and again, because I assume that you use this personally, how would you also kind of compare and contrast the just the material that you use? You said it's like lighter. Is it more fun to ride? Is it easier to do tricks? I mean, why is your different material better for jet skis than traditional means other than durability?
So when people look at personal watercraft, both there's the sit downs and then you have the stand ups, which are referred to as jet skis, and that's due to Kawasaki coming up with that name. kind of the Kleenex of the watercraft
Yeah,
space.
I apologize.
But it's always, a lot of them are associated with, they're difficult to ride as far as the stand-ups go. And one thing that we really are proud of with our technology is the way our hull is designed, but also the material itself happens to be buoyant. So the watercraft floats a lot better than your standard jet ski does, which makes it a lot easier to ride for your average person. So traditional jet ski, you really got to have a skill set, or you got to be a smaller person for it not to sink as much.
Hmm.
And then it's somewhat easier to ride. But with ours, it's kind of a universal personal watercraft. So the highest level professional free rider can ride it and do 40-foot backflips and compete all over the world in competitions. But at the same time, that same exact watercraft, same hull design, the same material can be used by a 10-year-old beginner or a mom or someone that is never ridden a stand-up before but would love to try it. This is the perfect opportunity to do so, because this gives them the confidence, allows them to ride it and enjoy it rather than struggling to figure out how to even start. So it kind of happened that way, but we were really focusing on trying to make a universal watercraft, something that can be used for the masses, but at the same time can be competed at a high level. And the material allowed us to do that. But the main things that are truly the big differentiators between our hull technology and the other manufacturers is the durability of the product. So with it being 100% plastic, it's obviously recyclable. It's good for the environment, has all of these green ups to it compared to
Hmm.
fiberglass, which is very toxic. But more importantly, it's the impact strength. So on a watercraft, you always have people bumping into things, whether you're beaching it on a sandy beach or sometimes has to go on a rocky beach, or it falls off the trailer, or you bump it into a dock, or happens most of the time is you bump it into another sit down personal watercraft or a stand up.
Yeah.
That's going to happen. And when anyone that's ever done that, they know the fiberglass fails and it shatters, it breaks, whatever. It has to get repaired, never strong as it used to be. With our material, you smash it with a sledgehammer, throw it off the back of a truck. You can drive it into another personal watercraft and it doesn't break.
I assume
You
you
get a smudge
recommend.
mark and that's about it.
I assume you recommend doing none of those, but you can. But you can.
Yes, you can.
Okay.
When it happens,
Right.
your product will be there and be protected.
Perfect. And why don't we talk about the specific product, because putting all of the technology into into one product that you are now selling. You mentioned 6 months. You went from a basic idea on paper to finally getting something out. Uh, and I believe your product is called please feel free to correct my pronunciation, either the Gratis or the Gratis X1. And when did that hit the market?
So the Gratis X1, we launched it March this year. So the first week of March, we launched it to the public. We've been testing it for quite some time now, and we felt that it was at a point where we're ready to share it to the world. So this product is brand new. It's not even a month old. And what we did is we took the proven hull manufacturing technology, so the hull index, so pretty much the entire shell of the watercraft. We've mastered that technology and that material over the last 2 years in our high-level professional free-ride jet skiers.
Mm-hmm.
And we've taken the Zero motorcycles proven electric drivetrain and partnered the two together, and in the end built the Tesla of personal watercraft. And we like that association with the name, but at the same time, it's kind of just makes sense. People get it. Think of electric cars. Some people think of smart cars, which may not be high performance. And
Right.
then when you think of a Tesla, that's the high performance electric car. And that's what we've created, is a high performance electric personal watercraft.
Yeah, if you can get the name Tesla to stick, or the Tesla of blank to stick, that of course means that yes, it's electric, but it's not a conventional electric. It's going to be fun. It's going to it's going to do things that rival more traditional crafts. So so the Gratis X1, why don't we talk about where you're going to start selling it? Because obviously, having it available in the U.S. is kind of mandatory, but there are a lot of places that water sports are of course very popular. Australia, Europe, what have you. What markets and what countries is the Gratis X1 available in?
So great question. So it is available in the U.S. We're taking pre-orders as of right now, and we're doing a pretty unique pre-order campaign where the first 35 people that purchase, either the first 25 single ones get about an extra $2,000 in free add-ons and accessories and other cool stuff.
Nice.
The first 10 people that purchase a pair, we throw in a free trailer and a bunch of other cool stuff. So that's kind of the incentive we've done for our direct customers. But our main focus is to get this in front of as many dealers as possible. And we've been very, very fortunate with the reception we've received in the last, 4 weeks. We have a lot of dealers signing up globally to sell the Gratis X1 because they get the advantages, they get the freedom that this will give you on the water. In a lot of these areas, a lot of people overlook, there's certain places that internal combustion engine personal watercrafts are outlawed. It's on some of the most beautiful waterways in the world. And for the first time, this is the first personal watercraft that is allowed on those waterways. So that really gives a lot of these people that haven't had the opportunity to enjoy water recreation the first time to do so. So we're working today and diligently over the next several months to lock in dealers across the globe. But we're not trying to ramp up too fast. We're trying to be able to bring in key dealers that we can support as this product continues to grow and expand all over the world, a lot also with our large product roadmap of new and exciting things coming in years to come.
Right. And let's talk about some of the benefits of this that you are really trying to push to the dealers and even, again, your customers, because being electric, you're going to have a couple of different, benefits that are exclusive to an electric vehicle over a gas-powered one. And also, if you could get into some of the drawbacks, because obviously, if you have a gas-powered device, you can, always bring a couple extra cans of gas and you can ride for, X amount of extra hours. But at the same time, and really, I think there's a lot to mention here with the green side of this, because a lot of people who ride jet skis, a lot of people who spend a lot of time out in the water, they do these things, but they also appreciate, protecting what it is that they're enjoying. They enjoy protecting, the beach, the environment, where they go to have fun, they enjoy protecting it. So what are some of the key, strong selling points for the Gratis X1?
I think the big one that resonate with a lot of people in the electric vehicle space, and more importantly, the people who are trying to either protect the waterway they live on or near, is that it's a zero emission watercraft. So there is no fuel, so there's no exhaust, there's no oil, there's nothing that's going to leak into the environment. It is 100% electric. And we've taken that one step further, and we've made sure that we're green across the board. So not only is our drivetrain completely electric and green, but our hull manufacturing technology is completely green. So it is 100% recyclable technology. So all of the material used in our hulls is recyclable. And the manufacturing process it takes to actually form our product is green. There's no chemicals, there's no volatile organic compounds that are released during the process. So we've really taken that to a different level and made sure we're green across the board. But at the same time, it's still a high performance, extremely fun to ride watercraft. But the big thing that a lot of people associate a negative to personal watercraft, and it's mainly just because they might not be familiar with it, is maintenance. A lot of people don't like to maintain things. And
Right.
the personal watercraft, just like your car, you have to change the oil if it's a 4-stroke. There's rebuilds that have to happen. Parts will wear out. A lot of moving mechanical things that over time will fail. And with internal combustion engines, whether it's a 4-stroke or it's a 2-stroke, any gas-powered watercraft, there's going to be maintenance. And with an electric drivetrain, there is nearly zero maintenance. The motor is built to last. The batteries, your average person riding per season, you're going to last about 80 years as the life of these batteries. And that's what Zero Motorcycles has really put a lot of time and effort into, making a nearly bulletproof battery pack that's not only extremely efficient, but has a long life. So it's a really great watercraft that people can enjoy waterways that are outlawed by internal combustion engines, but at the same time, they can focus on riding it and having a good time, not worry about their hull breaking, not worry about maintenance and putting too many hours on it. It's just charge it and ride it.
Right. And I can speak to a little bit of personal experience to this, because everyone watching the video portion, ignore the ghostly pale that I have. I used to spend time in the sun, and I had friends that had personal watercrafts. They had different kinds of jet skis and whatnot, and it was fun for a couple days during the summer, but eventually the maintenance, the upkeep, digging them out, getting them in working condition taking them out, feeling them up, pulling them back out, cleaning them and maintaining them. I mean, it was not something that you wanted to do every weekend. It was not something you really wanted to do, more than a couple times a year, because it was a lot of hassle. So you're saying that, just by the fact that this is something that you can store in your garage, plug in, charge, and pull out. This is much, much easier to use on a weekend basis or a weekly basis. And by the way, what would you say is kind of the average use, time of use for an outing?
Typically on a stand-up, since it requires a lot of physical use. I mean, it's extremely fun to ride, but you're not sitting on a seat turning handlebars. You got to use balance. You got to use a lot more muscles you typically wouldn't on a sit down.
Right.
Your average person rides anywhere from 30 to 45 minutes before they're either going to throw in the towel and call it a day, or they're going to go take a break and grab some lunch or go hang out with friends on the beach. And while they're doing that, their ski can be sitting there and charging. So your average outing is anywhere from 30 to 45 minutes for someone on stand up.
Right. And of course the battery is going to last you throughout that.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
The battery runtime, when they're purchasing this watercraft, they have the option to add an additional battery pack. With that additional battery pack, you'll get over 1 hour runtime.
Oh, very nice. Very, very nice. And yeah, that is, absolutely great to hear. And I mean, it seems like a lot of fun. And again, I really like that you put a lot of emphasis on the performance side of this, because I think a lot of people who may be used to personal watercrafts, I mean, there's a lot of, there's a lot of exhilaration. There's a lot of power that goes into these devices as you're, blazing through the water. And I've personally never done a backflip on purpose. Maybe I landed on my head once or twice, but there's a lot of energy that is put into this. And it seems like you have that great mix of, ease of use with performance that it's really going to meet a lot of people's needs. But is there any specific niche that you're trying to fill with this product?
We're not targeting any specific niche. I think this applies to a lot of different type of consumers. You have the people that just love water sports and live on a beautiful lake like Lake Tahoe, and Lake Tahoe is very strict on the internal combustion engine watercraft that they allow on there, because they're always trying to keep it clean and blue.
Mm-hmm.
Keep Tahoe blue is what they push. And this watercraft will allow them to not only have the fun on the water, but at the same time be the greenest vehicle on the water. So there's those people that love water sports but live in an area where they might not be allowed to enjoy water sports.
Right.
So those people, I guess, would be your niche people, because there's not a lot of those out there. But more and more lakes are outlawing internal combustion engines and two-strokes in particular, from Canada to Switzerland to there's spots all over the world that they're trying to keep their waterways pristine, and the best way to do that is to outlaw the gas-powered watercraft. So
and I'm sure
those
part
are
of that,
people that can enjoy the watercraft.
right? And I'm sure part of that is also the fact that sometimes you jet ski near people's houses, and there's a lot of noise pollution that goes into jet skis. Like traditional
Absolutely.
ones, you hear them coming. What would you say is kind of the the sound impact of one of your products?
So a traditional gas one, most people just hate the name jet ski, because all they think of is that noise of that sound that they're going to hear on their lake all day.
Right.
But the Gratis X1, you can't even hear it coming. It's like a sailboat passing you at a high speed. It's literally the hull cutting the water is all you hear. We've actually had to implement these headlights, these bright LED headlights on the front of the Gratis, just so people could see it coming, because you can't hear it coming.
Right. Yeah. No. And if you're watching the video portion, we're showing your website, and we show the bright LEDs that are on the front of this device. I mean, very, very nice looking. Obviously, style was a big part of what went into, of course, the Gratis X1, and yeah, I mean, it's you mentioned this a little bit earlier, and obviously, it's going to involve more than what you just said, but I mean, you mentioned that they can go almost anywhere. Are there, any more specific places that you've heard your customers taking? Oh, there we go. Yeah, sorry about that. But no, any more specific places that your customers are taking the Gratis X1 that they've said, otherwise I wouldn't have access to, these waterways or these lakes or what have you?
Yeah, Tahoe's a big one just because that's close to where we're at here in Sacramento. People will be able to enjoy stand-ups with high performance, lightweight, and just the nimbleness the stand-up gives you. The Gratis X1 will be able to offer that on Tahoe.
Hmm.
More importantly is if you look at areas around the world, like marine sanctuaries are a great example where they outlaw internal combustion engines because these marine sanctuaries are some of the most beautiful places in the world. And if you introduce gas or oil, the chance of polluting that, you can ruin them forever. So they're very, very strict on keeping those regulated. And we're working closely with those who make the rules and the people at the marine sanctuaries and within the government to work with them to have us allowed and our customers be allowed to these beautiful places. Today, the rules say that you can, but we're going to make sure that everyone's on the same page and we can work together to get access to these beautiful spaces. But there's a lot of areas, for example, aside from the internal combustion part, they outlaw noise. And that's areas in the Caribbean where they have simple noise ordinances. They don't care that it's gas. They just don't want the noise.
Right.
And this is now the first watercraft that can be in those beautiful places like the Caribbean and enjoy it, have the fun recreational activities, people doing rentals. You can have that opportunity now and rent more than just sailboats because this Gratis X1 produces no noise.
Right. And one of the things that's a little bit near and dear to my heart. I mean, I spent a long time in school in the environmental program, and I mean, in Florida, the waterways, there's a heck of a lot of them, and quite a few of them are home to manatees. Manatees are a lot of fun, and especially when you go out in the ocean, sea turtles, what have you. Um, One of the biggest dangers and threats to manatees, of course, being the propeller, and just unfortunately they're like big floating cows in the middle of the water, and they get hit by boats, they get tore up. Have you taken any effort to make sure that that the mechanics of this are not really a danger to water life or anything that could possibly be underwater?
Yeah, so it's with being a stand-up and all of the watercraft we'll be producing, they all are jet pump driven. So with a jet pump, all of your propeller and your spinning components are housed inside of the housing up into the hull. So if there's a manatee there, and he happens to come up when you're going by, you literally can hop right over him. He won't get hurt, and nor will your boat get hurt. So there's no propellers hanging down. There's nothing. Pretty much the only thing that'll be in danger will be the seaweed floating in the water. Past
Right.
that, all of the wildlife will be safe.
Perfect. That's of course great to hear. So, why don't we get into some of the things that make this a smart device? Because obviously, all electric, you have a chance to make not only a smartphone app, which I saw that you have, but a way to really monitor a lot of your device without any kind of gauges or whatnot. What kind of smart technology went into the Gratis X1?
So one of the big advantages is working with a company like Zero Motorcycles is they've kind of done what we want to do in the watercraft space in the motorcycle industry. So we were able to implement a lot of their existing technology and modify it for our products. So one of the cool things that the Gratis X1 has is a full dash. So a dash display that's integrated into our handle pole, which is the component that you hold on to drive it. And that dash gives you your speed, gives you your battery percentage. So that's like your fuel gauge. It tells you your time. You can program it to say your RPM, battery voltage, temperatures, pretty much any information that anyone, whether they're a racer or just an enthusiast, are interested in knowing and monitoring while they're riding the product can be put on this display. And to take that one step further, the Gratis X1 is a fully integrated app. So an app that can be used on your iPhone or your Android that you can build your own custom dash. So if there are certain things that you can't display on the dash that's integrated into the Gratis X1, you can custom build your own dash on your cell phone and mount it to your ski, whether it's on your handlebars or you're just holding on to it.
Right.
And you can get even more things to display.
Right, perfect. And hey, I'm going to have to stop you right there. Jordan, would you mind staying over so we can give this a proper ending right after the commercials?
Absolutely.
Perfect. All right, and everyone out there, stay tuned for more Computer America just in one moment as we come back with more Jordan Darling. He is again
We are
founder.
all
There
Brother
we go.
Wolf. 10 years ago, a group of locals banded together to create positive change. We took animals into our homes, held adoption events at local retailers, and talked to the community about our mission to help build a no-kill Asheville. A decade later, we have achieved so many victories for animals in need. There's been so much progress, yet there's still so much to do. As part of our year-long celebration, we encourage you to become a member of our special Compassionate Circle program. With a monthly donation of $10 or more, you will have behind-the-scenes access to the work we are doing at Brother Wolf. Our goal is to reach 1,000 members because we receive no government funding. Working together, we can help build and sustain no-kill communities. Learn more at compassionatecircle.bwar.org. We are a 501c3 tax-deductible organization.
And welcome back to the Computer America Show. It is 31 minutes past the hour as we continue on here again with Jordan Darling. He is the founder and CEO of Freeform Factory. And that's right, we were just getting into, we were just wrapping up about the smartphone app. I mean, we are talking about, of course, personal watercrafts and the Gratis X1 in particular. Seems like a lot of technology and a lot of high performance, thought went into building this device. And of course, hey, yes, there is an app for that, just like just like you always wanted. And yeah, I mean, talking more about the app, are there any kind of because you mentioned that this is obviously a good device for maybe someone who is their first time out, and let's be honest, they really don't care much more than learning how to use the device and to maybe see how much longer they have to ride it. But more professionals, is there any kind of way to is there any kind of performance monitoring where they can try to practice and improve? What are some of the more niche things that you can kind of monitor through the smartphone app?
So with the app, there's the opportunity to also create a custom ride mode. So the Gratis X1, it being electric, you can program the motor to have different performance levels for the rider. So it comes set with two programs, sport mode and an eco mode. Sport and being much more fast and obviously can be a shorter battery time. Just want to go out for a long leisure ride, you'd go into eco mode. But for those guys doing custom applications, whether they're a free rider or a race professional, they can actually go in and build their own ride profile of the Gratis X1 with the app. And if they're trying to log some data, so they're doing laps for a race or they want to see how much energy they use for their last ride, they can go into the app, upload their data to their computer, and there's access to so much data, you really don't know what to use with it. So we have the opportunity and get some more data past that for our riders and for our teammates. But more importantly, with it being a connected device, you can also connect to technical support. So if you have an issue with your drivetrain or if you have an issue with your battery, you can actually send that information directly to a dealer or a service bureau for the Gratis X1, and they can get the information that you have on your watercraft, tell you what needs to be done to fix it.
Very, very cool. Yeah, and that can be one of the most annoying parts is that you don't know exactly what's wrong with it. So very nice. And for anyone out there, by the way, listening to the Computer America Show, and you see that next week we have Yamaha coming on the show. Yamaha is coming on to talk about their keyboards. So if you're hoping to compare and contrast the two brands, then kind of out of luck there. But no, this is this is a lot of fun. Why don't we talk about some of your some of your different models, because you mentioned you have this really this really enticing pre-sale kind of thing, pre-order going on. What are some of the different models that you have, and what are some of the different add-ons that you give people the option? Because you also mentioned things like a second battery.
Yeah, so right now we're doing the pre-order campaign. So the first 25 customers, which that's pretty much already filled up, but the first 25 customers that order Gratis X1, they get to pick their own custom graphics kit. We include a $500 beach tote, allows them to get to their Gratis X1 to certain waterways that they might not be able to get to a trailer, or also saves them from having to actually use a trailer. They can transport it in their own vehicle. We're also throwing in clothes packages, so you'll be fully branded with all the latest and greatest freeform clothing, and a private invite to a VIP party we'll be hosting later this summer. And for the first 10 people that order 2, stand-ups are traditionally purchased in pairs. We'll be throwing in a free trailer, all of those free custom graphics, and double the free clothes that we talked about in the previous order. So it's really just making it more enticing for those to be the first to be a part of the electric watercraft movement, which we are leading, and be able to showcase this to their friends, to their family, and get the Gratis X1 in front of as many people as possible.
And that is why, of course, you are here on places like Computer America, and we want to thank you for coming on. And Jordan, was there anything that we may have missed or glossed over that you want to mention to our audience? Or because I think we covered this pretty well.
Yeah, you did a great job of covering it. Just touch on it again, is we're super excited about the Gratis X1. It's been a long time coming. We're happy to be able to execute to the level that we have and bring this electric personal watercraft to the world, and to give people the freedom on the water to enjoy waterways they have not been able to enjoy before, but more importantly, not bother anyone else when you're doing it. And in the end, it's high performance, it's fun, it's quiet, never going to have to put gas in it ever again.
That, and there are a lot of positive propositions that you have there. And for anyone out there who wants to check this out, see it in action, check out their videos, and of course, maybe even, purchase one, you can, of course, check out ridefreeform.com or head on over to Computer America, where we have a link on our homepage directly to the website for, the next 10 days or so, next 2 weeks. And then, of course, it will stay there in the archives forever and ever more. But with that being said, Jordan, I want to say once again, thank you for coming on. This was very, very interesting, a little bit different than what we normally do here on Computer America. But at the same time, we always appreciate people cramming technology into places that it hasn't been before, or, doing it better than it has before. So once again, Jordan Darling, founder and CEO, thank you so much for coming on Computer America.
Thank you. Take care.
All right, have a good one. Bye-bye. And there he goes. Once again, Jordan Darling, and we want to thank him. We'll, of course, invite him back out when there's something there's something maybe to, of course, talk about in the coming months, or, 6 to 12 months. And yeah, that was a lot of fun. Again, check it out, ridefreeform.com. Okay, everyone. Now, why don't we move on to computer and technology news? And this is our segment where we dedicate everything to news stories, new topics, new gadgets, new devices. Just have a lot of fun with it, as, of course, technology news is ever developing. And hey, there's a lot to talk about. So, but before we get into that, I, of course, want to mention one more thing, and that is VTech. That's right. VTech's new 4-line small business phone system is the perfect solution for small business owners that need to install a phone system that has qualities and features that have previously only been available for companies with larger budgets. And the new phone system is the most affordable and easy to install 4-line phone system on the market. We're, of course, going to get into that, where you can, of course, have many, many options for the different kinds of devices that you want, where if you want cordless headsets, handsets, cordless speakerphone, and cordless desk sets, you can have all of them. Put them anywhere you want, and you can have up to 10 extensions on each model. Very, very convenient. It will allow you to grow alongside your business. Also, if you want to add something, maybe you started with 4 and you want to head on over to 6, just put the 2 near each other, press 2 buttons, and they pair wirelessly. Very, very simple, and hey, could be saving a lot of time and a lot of money. Also, if you want to, expand them, or if you want to put them places that don't have maybe a phone jack near them, or, what have you, just make sure they have power and access to the Wi-Fi network, and then there you go. You can put it anywhere in your office that you may want. So you can plan your workspace however you want. No need to tie yourself to phone drops. And then in addition to that, you, of course, have many, many features, including things like auto attendant for each line, full duplex speakerphone so you don't cut anyone off, a digital answering machine with mailboxes for every extension. Music on hold, power failure operation. So just make sure it's on an uninterruptible power supply. And next thing you know, you're off to the races, along with 6-party conferencing. Very nice. And of course, our listeners can go check them out at VTech 4-line small business phone system. That is the name. At Office Depot, Office Max, Staples, and online at vtechphones.com. Check it out. Could be just what you need. And again, VTech. So, thank you for that. And we are now going to continue on again with computer and technology news. So, let's get things started right here. All right, and now for today's computer and technology news, of course, brought to you by Computer America, we are going to start with this one. And this is a problem I think happening in a lot of industries. And, well, a problem if you are trying to get into the workforce. But if you are the workforce, it's a trend. It shows just what people are doing, and it's making it harder for, of course, new people to come into such an industry. So here we go. This is from Ars Technica. And of course, you can find links to these stories and more, again, over on our website. But STEM workforce, STEM, of course, being science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, workforce is aging, which is leaving fewer positions for new scientists. So they're aging, but they're not retiring. They're working into they're working until much, much later, which of course, if you don't have that turnover, you don't have as much demand for new hires. So here we go, saying that scientists are getting their PhDs later and retiring at lower rates. So again, Ars Technica, and by the way, this was written by Rohini Saxena, saying that the population of people doing science is increasingly older. And indeed, they're increasingly older, and of course, fewer young people are establishing careers in the field, saying that a recent paper published in PNAS finds that there are 2 main factors contributing to the aging STEM workforce, saying that the first is that the large majority of current scientists come from the baby boomer generation. I can, of course, speak to that. Did some time in of course, a pharmaceutical manufacturing plant, and let me tell you, there's quite a few scientists. There were no scientists in my peer group. There were no scientists in my age range. They were all definitely from the previous generation. And now, of course, the baby boomers being aged 50 to 70, with the second main contributor being that in 1994, universities eliminated mandatory retirement so that many older scientists continue to work long past traditional retirement ages. Heck, we just saw this with another news story that we covered a couple of weeks ago with a gentleman who invented or at least I think he co-wrote a paper for the lithium-ion battery that we all know and love. And he just recently, again within the past couple of weeks, came out with a new type of battery. It was like nickel oxide or something like that. At any rate, it was a new type of battery, and it was the same person leading the team. And he's like 93 or something like that. I don't have anything against 93-year-olds making innovations in science. Obviously, that's a good thing. But at the same time, it just goes to show that the previous generation, or even the generation before them, they are either keeping that drive, that initiative to keep working much, much later, because obviously you probably could retire. There's nothing that says you have to work until 93, but some people are choosing to work till 93, and that can be a problem for, again, people looking to join the workforce, because are you going to, of course, keep on someone who has maybe 40 years experience and 40 years of knowledge under their belt, or are you going to take someone fresh out of university who maybe has no real world experience but a degree? Obviously, you're going to choose, again, someone with the decades of experience rather than the other way around. So they're saying that this trend could have severe consequences, as science may end up lacking the diverse perspectives needed for creative solutions, and there will be fewer qualified individuals to step up when baby boomers finally do retire. Again, if you can't get a job getting experience, then when you finally are hired, you have no experience in the field. So, with that being said, they said that when of course you compare the STEM workforce to the general workforce, the authors say that the STEM workforce, which is of course older to start with, because advanced degrees you start developing them later in life, and you get them of course later than the general workforce, which may be fresh out of high school or fresh out of 4-year university, and you jump right into it. They're saying that of course the STEM workforce is aging more rapidly, saying that between 1993 and 2010, the average age of the scientific workforce increased from 45.1 to 48.6. So over a 17-year time span, the average age increased almost 4%, or almost 4 years. That's right. Whereas the average age of the general workforce increased, again, during the same period, a mere 3 years. So, yeah, you have an increasingly aging STEM population. So, and there's a couple other numbers thrown out because, as you would expect from a study about STEM, they love their statistics. And yeah, so why don't we wrap this up by saying that the significance of these findings for the development of STEM fields depends in part on the scientific productivity of older scientists versus younger scientists, saying that if productivity and creativity are lower at older ages, not saying it is, but hey, it might, then we've got problems. However, forcing all older scientists to retire and make room for a new cohort of researchers is also clearly not the answer. Yeah, forced retirement hardly ever is. And since older researchers retain highly valuable knowledge and experience of the field, saying it's also more likely that a diverse mix of experience between the experienced scientists and the younger ones who are more willing to explore and adopt new technologies would be more productive. So again, ideally, the best solution would be a mix between people leaving the field and people joining the field. In and out. You get that difference of perspective. You get a lot of innovation. And hey, it's worth exploring, but that's simply not happening. So, faced with this challenge of an aging STEM workforce, somehow employers must find a way to make room for new recruits while maintaining the space held by current researchers. And in the current funding environment for the academic science, this charge is already challenging and is likely to get worse. Not good. For any of you longer-term listeners out there, you may remember Aaron Crossman, my brother, Craig's son, and for a time he did some work on the show. He was our webmaster. I believe he had a few appearances here on the show, and he has since left to go to University of Colorado, pursue his PhD in chemistry, and let me tell you, he is getting worked like crazy by scientists who are much his senior because they run crazy labs and they run crazy schedules, but at the same time, they aren't leaving. So, you have these people, you have older, more experienced, professors running labs and doing it the more traditional way, but they're having the younger generation pretty much as, very, very hard labor doing the actual work. So, I don't know. STEM is, of course, very important, and it's just one more hurdle that we're going to have to, overcome, because evolving in STEM is going to be the answer to a lot of economic woes, a lot of, woes in other field, and definitely worth pursuing. So, we'll keep an eye on this, and again, a lot of companies have very vested interest in making sure STEM stays evolving. And hey, we'll see what happens. So, with that being said, why don't we jump on over to some of the other, some of the other stories, and why don't we do some of the big headlines because we're running quickly out of time, including, check this one out, Destiny 2. My goodness, Destiny 1 flew right by, and now we have Destiny 2. So, for anyone out there who may not have gotten their hands on the first Destiny, There's already been like 2 expansions. There was like Rise of Iron and the Taken King along with the base game. And yeah, it was a lot of fun, very successful. The game was produced by the same studio that did the original Halo 1 through 3. So obviously a great pedigree when it comes to first-person shooter, but it was also a massively multiplayer online game. A very hard line to to balance, but Destiny did a lot of that, and they did it very, very well. So now we have, of course, Destiny 2. And this is quite a change from traditional MMOs, because if you think things like World of Warcraft, or if you think of things like, many, many other MMOs out there, the point of it is that you invest in a character, you invest in a persona, and your character gets more powerful over time, you get better equipment, time invested is directly proportional, or should be, to the amount of gear, loot, achievement, what have you, prestige that you have in the game. Well, with this sequel, with Destiny, they are making it part of the game. Yes, it's part of the storyline, that if you play Destiny 1, you are going to lose everything that you've worked for the past couple of years. And there's a number of reasons for this, but the primary one is that for people who maybe haven't played Destiny, the first Destiny, and they want to jump into the second one, they don't want them to feel disadvantaged because people have been playing it for a number of years beforehand. They don't want to feel like you're playing catch up and you're never going to be able to catch the previous game's participants. So now with Destiny 2, just announced today, well, actually just announced, a little while ago, but the first trailer, you should definitely go check it out, available today. Very funny. It, of course, has all of your favorite characters that are, of course, the Guardians and, and all that good stuff. But it also has, of course, Cade, a lot of Cade, I think, as a lot of people were pointing out, which, of course, has Nathan Fillion is, of course, the voice for that. So check it out, Destiny 2. And the other big announcement for Destiny 2 being it will be available for PC. Destiny 2, or the first Destiny, was a strictly console MMO first-person shooter. So it was available on Xbox, it was available on PlayStation, but not PC, because, actually a lot of people prefer first-person shooters on PC. And with Destiny 2, they're finally bridging the gap. And if you were holding out because you didn't have a game console, well, this may be just what you're looking for. So again, Destiny 2 coming out, gameplay trailer, and the announcement trailer just came out today. And definitely go check out if you are on PC. It's maybe your first chance to really get to sit down and play it. And yeah, go check it out. A lot of fun. And then let's see, what was the other headlining one that we had available here on Computer America? I think it was this one, Domino's. You may know them. They had a delivery. I don't even want to call it a drone. Like, it is a drone because it's autonomous, it has cameras, and it goes by itself. But it's more of a rover. Think of like a lunar rover, but for pizzas instead of Mars or Moon or what have you. And we saw this in Australia, I believe it was, and now it is making its way to Europe and Germany, and I believe the Netherlands. Yes, Germany and the Netherlands, they have both set a pair of pizza delivery drones loose in their places. And again, through Domino's. So for anyone out there who has not seen this before, definitely go check out the show notes, but also check out the video portion, because it looks like, again, a 6-wheeled rover, and it has a large compartment on top, and of course with a lid where it will keep your pizza steady, still, warm, and safe until it reaches your doorstep. It will send you a message. You come out, take the pizza, I assume that you unlock it somehow with a smartphone, and you have a pizza at your door. So, of course, they're saying that, oh, and by the way, it was New Zealand, not Australia. My bad. But for the pilot program, they said it chose to use autonomous rovers developed by Starship Technologies, a company built by 2 of Skype's founders. And Domino's told Engadget that launching this program doesn't mean it has given up on developing its own delivery drones, which it's been doing for a year now. So both the pilot one in New Zealand and the one that this comes, they are from the same division that's developing its homegrown machine, and saying that it's a matter of changes, but running multiple programs to bring technology that makes ordering faster and simpler to our customers as quickly as possible. The idea of drones taking over pizza delivery, I mean, that's a lot of jobs that you're looking down the barrel and saying, well, if robots take that job, what are so many other people going to do? I don't know. We'll figure that one out. But at the same time, people really want their pizza and they really want it fast. And hey, this may be the way to do it. So they're saying that Starship's autonomous rover is battery powered. It can carry up to 20 pounds of food, which is about 8 pizzas or a combination of pizzas, sides, drinks, and dessert products per delivery, which again is kept inside a cargo hold. So customers can unlock that cargo hold with a code sent to their phones. So if you don't have the code, you can't open up the device. And unfortunately, the pilot isn't available all over the 2 European countries. In fact, it's only open to people living within a 1-mile radius of specific stores in Germany and Dutch cities. So if you live in either country, you'll have to call your local branch and ask if they have a drone. If they have a drone available to you. But at the same time, if you have to live within 1 mile, you could probably just, go walk to the store and pick it up faster than the drone could take it to you. But at any rate, pizza drones, they're coming, and we will, of course, be seeing more of them. So there were a couple of stories that I really wanted to get to, including things like the FCC is talking about bringing internet to disadvantaged communities. That was something that they said they were going to pull back from, but they just mentioned that the FCC isn't going to do it in particular. They're just going to bring it to a state level. So a state-by-state level is going to determine the subsidies that are available to, of course, lower income communities that need internet. Again, not really a fan of the current FCC and their rules and regulations, and especially this one because obviously the state has less funding than the federal government. And this, again, just screams to me that the current FCC has no incentive to making sure internet is available for everyone in this country. They just don't. So yeah, there was that article we didn't get to talk about. And then I'm going to save this one for later as well. This one from CNET, and it's asking the question, if a VPN, a virtual private network, can protect your online privacy, and they're saying that it can, but of course it comes with a catch, saying that after U.S. lawmakers vote to end online privacy rules, yes, that happened just yesterday, shocking, horrible, disgraceful, they're saying that people are looking for ways to hide their browsing histories. Because for those of you who missed it, the recent rules say that, again, purchase en masse without personally identifiable information, even though it's still possible with key data points, but they're going, ISPs are now going to be able to package your browsing history, your browsing habits, package them and sell them in one swift move to interested advertisers so that they can better target you with ads. So think of it like, the entire city of Atlanta, Georgia. Take everyone's browsing history and combine that to see trends, take the trends, better target advertisements to those trends, and deliver to everyone in the area. Things like that going to be possible. And again, another way that your internet company is trying to milk you for as much information as possible so that they can better utilize you as a source of revenue. Obviously, there's a lot I don't like going on lately, but we have also good things to say, including Tesla and other likes of the companies, but unfortunately, just no time. So everyone, I want to say thank you so much for joining us. Sorry we couldn't get to more tech stories. Be sure to check out computeramerica.com for more. And hey, catch us next time, same place here on Computer America. So until next time, see you tomorrow. And by the way, tomorrow we have Pop Zara's Nathan Evan. So tune in. Have a good one. Bye, everyone.